I had the opportunity to make the easiest $5,000 in my small business, but I let it go. Well, it's not that simple. This is more of a story about hindsight is 2020. We can look back at all of our decisions, all the slabs we sold too early, all the slabs we didn't buy, and we can have regret. We can look at the Gold Star boom. We can look at the tag team boom, and we can wonder, why didn't we just buy more? Can't go back in time. It was a different situation. Maybe we couldn't justify it. Maybe we wouldn't have held it for as long as we had to. That's the exact situation I'm in. So I've been looking back at some Collecticon Chicago, April of 2025. My first big card show I went to. It was pretty early on in my business. I decided to drive 4 hours to Chicago to attend one day of the show. It was a ton of fun. It was awesome to see the community. I went there with the sole intention of adding cards to my Umbreon master set. I also thought maybe I'll put together a cool video talking about moving and making progress towards my master set of every Umbreon. So I have a bunch of old clips. A bunch of these clips did not turn out good, and all of them are focused purely on Umbreon. I didn't know nearly as much about the scope of all these large cards, but I did capture a few videos and pictures of some very high-end cards in the insane prices that we would now consider today to be quite cheap. So when I was looking back, I was trying to find some specific pricing on some Umbreons I've been looking for. Trying to look back just for fun and be like, wonder how much those cost. Specifically, my favorite card, my dream card, is the Japanese exclusive Karen's Umbreon. It's my favorite card ever. I remember at the show, there was a bunch of copies ranging from probably graded prices of $900 to $3,000, a bit more. And I decided not to pick one up. I believe there was a raw copy for $500 or $600. And I went back and forth for a little while. Couldn't justify it. It's too expensive for my personal collection. So I didn't buy it. And now I watch auctions every day on eBay. Can't find a copy for under $900. I just want a low grade. Give me a PSA 2, PSA 3, PSA 4. That's what I want. But right now my reasonable budget is probably around $700 for a graded copy. So yeah, I don't know when I'll get one. Got to keep growing the business, and then eventually I'll be able to justify it. But yeah, I was looking back at old footage to see what the prices were. And when I was doing that, I saw some crazy cards jump out at me and be like, man, that is cheap. So I decided I was going to make a video going over some of the crazy price jumps and what ifs if we were to have purchased those cards. But if we're realistic with ourselves, even if I purchased any of these Grail cards, I would not have held them for very long. It would have extended my budget to an extreme. Some of them way out of budget, but they would have extended my budget to a risky point where I couldn't justify it. So I probably would have flipped them within a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, and it would have added a lot of stress. But it is fun to think of the what ifs. And I do have one specific story about a card that I really wish I bought. I had some negotiations with, not at Collecticon. This one was a local card shop. One of my Grail cards and a very expensive card that I was very close to buying. I could have done it too. I had some free cash at the time. Could have dropped a couple thousand for this card. And yeah, could have flipped it, could have held it in my collection. Would have been awesome. But I passed up on it because I felt it was irresponsible. And it probably would have been, because in my mind, I wanted it for my personal collection. And I knew it would appreciate and I could flip it. Decided not to buy it. And now I'm looking back at the price. Yeah. Could have made an easy $5,000. So yeah, we're gonna go through a couple of these specific cards that I saw or captured at Collecticon Chicago in April of 25. Some of the pictures are not great, mainly because these were really quick videos I was taking with my camera of Umbreons. I was trying to capture some of the cool Umbreons, and I wanted to put together some sort of Umbreon video. Never ended up doing it. So all these clips were focused on Umbreon. But when I was going and filming Umbreon, I captured a few cool cards. So I'd like to go over a couple of those. So yeah, Collecticon Chicago, April 13th, 2025. First one. Again, I'm an Umbreon guy. So a few of these are going to be Umbreon focused. And this is, of course, a dream card of mine. I will probably end up picking up a Japanese or even maybe Korean or Chinese copy just to save a few bucks. But back in April of 25, there were many vendors selling them for the $2,200 mark. PSA 10, $2,250. What did it sell for just recently? $3,400. Yeah, getting priced out. And again, imagine you bought all three of those in that picture, or four, could have made quite a good amount of money. But realistically, probably would have flipped them fast. So that is a 52% increase over the year. Pretty good, pretty good. The next card is a little bit out of left field. This one, way out of budget. Never would have bought it myself, but I took a video that it was in and I was like, man, I can't believe I didn't focus more on that when I was in Chicago. This is the 25th anniversary Beta Chansey. Very bad picture again because I took a screenshot from a video. But yeah, PSA 9 for $25,000 at the time. Insane pricing, not something I would consider. But if you had bought it and held it for a little bit under a year, yep, recent sale of almost $39,000. That would be a return of 54%, which doesn't actually seem like that much compared to some in this video. But if you think about it, it was quick $13,000 profit if you could manage to hold it. But again, most of us would have flipped it way faster. PSA 6 Skyridge Charizard Holo. This picture is really not good, but it was on the side of the frame of an Umbreon I was recording. I'm sure there was higher grades at the show, but this is just one I captured the price of. So a PSA 6 for $4,800. Skyridge has some of the coolest holos. The e-readers are incredible. Skyridge might be one of my favorite sets. Extremely out of reach, never could justify it. I did not consider this card at all, but it is pretty cool. Just wanted to look at it. Yep, just sold in November. I found a comp for $7,800. So it's probably even a little higher now. That would have been a 63% increase. Pretty good. Pretty good. Again, out of my wheelhouse, not even considered, but yeah, the opportunity is there. This one hits a little closer to home for me. Again, the Umbreon collection. This is one of probably my top 3 Umbreons. One of my absolute favorites. It's not really an Umbreon, but for my collection, I want to get all the cameos and anything that showcases Umbreon. So yeah, I've tried to get this one in lower grades or raw copy. I just can't justify the price right now. But I do remember around this time, or when I first started looking at this card, there were raw copies on eBay for, I believe, $400, maybe even below. Yeah, that's not happening anymore. This one I do regret. This one, if I could pay this price right now for my personal collection to hold it, I'd probably do it. Recent sale, January 6th, $3,000. Yep, I am now priced out for PSA 10s. That's okay. I don't need a PSA 10, but I am now priced out for PSA 10s. A little bit of regret on this one. Not necessarily for the 10, but for the Eevee Umbreon Poncho. I could have got a lower grade and had that in my collection. That is a 67% increase over under a year. Kind of a missed opportunity there, but yeah, gotta be realistic here. If I bought it, that wouldn't stay in my personal collection. That one wouldn't have been profit. Another big boy. $10,000 for a first edition PSA 10 Sabrina's Gengar. $10,000 is crazy. Again, this is not one I considered, but just looking back for funsies, this is insane. $10,000 back in April of 25. Guess what it went for now? $18,000. Yeah, we're all getting priced out. This is insane. If you're good at math, that is a quick 80%. Yep. This is great. Again, not really something I considered for the business, but looking back, it's like, man, if only I was more committed at the time, I could have made some of these trades. But being realistic, I would have sold them within a couple months. Would never have realized these gains. PSA 10 Mewtwo GX, or the Mewtwo. See that sticker? $2,300. That's expensive. I wouldn't have bought that. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but I respect the story with it, so. Yep. It is now doubled in price. Recent sale, February 19th. Double what I could have bought it for. Realistically, for the business, I could have pulled that off. But would I? No. So I got to be realistic. I wouldn't have done it. Again, you people that are keen with math, quick 100%. Yeah. Spoke on Karen's Umbreon a little bit earlier. This one hits close to home. Never could have justified nearly $4,000 for the personal collection on one single card. I still can't. Not going to do it. But this is a PSA 10 copy with a swirl. So a little bit of premium in there. Beautiful card. Again, I want to find a lower grade. Give me a PSA 2. If anyone has a PSA 2, PSA 3, throw it at me. I'd take a PSA 1, but realistically, they're more expensive than 2 and 3s. Man, $3,700. Expensive for some Japanese card. Nope, Japanese exclusive Karen's Umbreon. PSA 10s are now selling for nearly $8,000. I've seen sales for $8,000. Yep, think I'm priced out of this one. Just someone find me a low grade, please. 103%. Again, if I managed to buy this one, I probably wouldn't have sold it. PSA 10 Umbreon Darkrai GX. Again, pretty Umbreon focused because that's most of my pictures here that I was focusing on. I actually have a raw copy of this card. It is a potential 10 contender. I have never submitted a card, never submitted to PSA, so maybe I'm wrong. It would probably get a 9, but I do own one of these, so there's not that much regret. But $1,400. And everyone that knows the tag team boom, yeah, recent sale, basically $3,000. I'm not paying that. But I could have swung that for the business. But must be realistic. I wouldn't have. 113%. Ultimate Grail. Umbreon Gold Star. Okay, so we've talked about my Umbreon Master Set I'm working on. I'm not buying this card. I am probably never going to own this card. Maybe 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, if I find a low grade and I'm in the position to do it, maybe I'll do it. It's a dream card, but I think it's irresponsible for me. I could take that money, put it as a down payment on an investment property, put it into the S&P 500. I could be a little more responsible with it. So yeah, unless a really good deal falls into my lap, or if the business really starts to boom someday, I might skip this one. It wouldn't be a true master set, but it's for me. It's a personal collection. Who cares? $15,000 PSA 9 Gold Star Umbreon. One of the top grails in the whole TCG. Yep. Recent sale. $35,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's the investment money right there. Why would I want to have a card worth that? I don't know. I don't think I would. That is 133%. Yep. Priced out. Goodbye, Gold Star. If only we knew. If only we knew. We could have taken out a small business loan for $15,000. Okay, Japanese exclusive promo. What do you guys call this card? I've been sitting here thinking, trying to remember, what is this card called? I Googled it, and everything I could find online is either the number, Japanese exclusive, stamp box, but I swear it had a name. Maybe it's some Japanese name I don't remember. But everything online says Looking Back Beauty Pikachu. I guess that's the name. Let me know in the comments what's the actual name. It's driving me insane. $900. I remember I have a friend, a vendor that used to go to local shows, and I would see him all the time. We worked together often, buying stuff back and forth. He showed me this card one random day. We were at a GameStop release, I think for 151. We were at the GameStop release for 151. And he walked up with this card. He's like, dude, check this out. I was like, yo. That's the first time I had ever seen it. I wasn't that deep into the hobby yet. The card was awesome. A few weeks later, he had it at a card show. And I told him I wanted it. It's probably, outside of Umbreon, one of my favorite cards, like top 2 or 3. This card is beautiful. It's just art. I don't remember the exact price, but it was probably $700 to $800 that he was selling it for. And I was like, man, that's insane. Can't do it. And then at Collecticon Chicago, it was $900 market price. And now today, as of a couple days ago, $2,500. Yep. Again, priced out. And that one legitimately was a business opportunity I had. I had a buddy that would sell it to me for, again, I don't remember the price, let's say $800. Realistically, again, we all can't look back and regret these things. I would have sold it within a month or two. I would have made a couple hundred. But if I held it, yeah, that would have been almost a 200% return. Hindsight is 2020. Never could have known. Guess we could have known that this card would go crazy. This card's insane. I had no clue what this card was when I was at Collecticon Chicago. I just filmed it because it looked kind of cute. And I didn't get a cool picture because I was panning so fast across from Umbreon, Luigi, different Ponchos. But yeah, $1,700 was the sticker. I could have afforded it. The business could have afforded it. Would I? Probably not. Probably not. But if I did, whew. You guys see a pattern here? Yeah, this would have been the biggest gain. From the cards I pulled from my Umbreon video, this is probably the biggest gain. Nearly 300% return. And again, realistically, I could have done it. Did I even really think about it? No. It was way out of consideration for me. I was doing small stuff. I was flipping $20 cards, $30 cards. Slabs worth 60, 100, 200. I could have done it, but it was too risky. So I didn't. Didn't even consider it. Man. If I held that for a year, look where we'd be at. That's pretty much the profit I made all last year. In one card. In a cool card I could have held and maybe made content with. Yeah. That's a cool card. Again, we're being realistic here. I never would have held it long enough. It would have burdened my business to an extreme extent. I wouldn't have been able to buy or sell like anything else. That would have been most of my capital at the time. But man, 277%. Oh yeah, forgot about this one. Beckett 8.5, Rayquaza Gold Star. I know I keep saying, oh, my favorite card, oh, my favorite Umbreon. Karen's Umbreon is my favorite card, no debate. But if second favorites are allowed, there it is. On my screen, Gold Star Rayquaza. I guess I have expensive taste. Again, just get me a low grade. Get me a low grade. I can't justify it. I'm not going to justify it. But yeah. That's a dream. Get me Karen's Umbreon. Get me this card. My collection's good. That's all the slabs I need. Beckett 8.5. It's kind of hard for me to find comps. I couldn't find like any Beckett comps that were comparable. I think I found an 8 from a while ago, but I switched over to PSA comps. I did a PSA 8, a PSA 9. Beckett's a little more strict on grading. So some people would potentially argue, many people would argue that this is a PSA 9 or better. So I put the 8 just to be fair, and then I put the 9 for fun. PSA 8, $20,000. And if you remember, stickered at 8.5. For you guys keen at math, again, it's over double. It's 135% increase. PSA 9, probably more realistic. 35,000. Yep, that's cool. Again, out of my wheelhouse, never would have bought it, but man, that's cool. Should have taken out a loan. Should have sold the Bitcoin. And again, PSA 8 would have been 135%. Woo! Again, it's not a direct comparison because it was a Beckett 8.5. But if you crossed it, or the sales would probably be similar to this. Probably somewhere in between. I'm not certain. But yeah. 300%. I wonder how many big whales are out here doing this. They just have these cards. I watched Jar Chomp collectibles, goated polls, and sometimes they show off their collection. They have this stuff. They just have multiples of cards this level, and they're just holding them. It's insane. We'll get there. We'll get there. 312%. If I manage to buy that card and hold it for a year. Less than a year. Quite a bit less than a year. Woo! And then the final card I would like to discuss. This one hits the closest to home. This is the intro card. I could have made $5,000. Pretty easily. Pretty easily. This was not at CollectCon Chicago. This was March at a local card shop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, of all places. Not a good town. Don't move to Kalamazoo. But yeah, I was very close to buying this card. But again, this would have been quite a stretch for me. This would have been a lot of money, and it probably would have sat in my personal collection. If I bought this card, would I have held it long enough to make $5,000? Probably not. I would have sold it. If I doubled my money on this card, I would have sold this card. And it would have really slowed down the business for a while. It would have been a stretch, would have been all the money, all the capital. Yeah. Can't look back and regret it. I'll find one someday, but yeah, it's kind of fun looking back. Thinking about the opportunity here, could have made $5,000. But being realistic, I wouldn't have made $5,000. I would have sold it early. But yeah, you know, you live and you learn. Someday I'll get into these big cards and maybe I'll have a return like that. Yep. That was the card that got away. I held it in my hands. I almost bought it. Talked myself out of it. Wasn't responsible. Man, I wish I bought this card. There's the sale, $7,000. Yep, 180% if I held it. But I never even bought it, so it's the one that got away. Sad day. I just made that emotional for no reason. Okay. Recent sales over the past 2 days. TCG Player had a note. It was $47 over the past 2 days. Just made a sale a couple minutes ago. It is now $52. eBay. Go ahead and pull that one up. Recent sales. Sold 3 cards in the past 2 days. And they were a little bigger than usual. So eBay sales were also $47. So total of $99, I think. Total of $99 past 2 days. Pretty good, pretty good. So right now, kind of prioritizing listing more cards on eBay. And besides that, I need to get more organized. Some of my TCG Player inventory is not fully sorted. I was doing good. Everything was alphabetized. Everything was sorted by set and era. And then I started getting ambitious, listing as many cards as I could. And I set them in stacks next to the boxes. Look back there, there's a couple stacks and a couple stacks in one of the rows that are not sorted. There's probably 500, 600 that are not sorted in there, and it makes it a real pain when I get an order. So I got to work on some organization. And also, I got to work on organizing this office. I don't know if this is going to turn out. I don't know if this is going to make it in the video. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to sync this either. This is the office space right now. It looks like a mess. Over here, we got couch cushions. That's my attempt at sound dampening right now. We also got pillows in this corner. We got a random sweatshirt I didn't pick up, and I'm justifying it because it is sound dampening. Got some boxes behind me of shipping supplies. That's over here. Shipping supplies, and then a random moving box, an egg box. That looks dumb. Yeah, this is the messy office. Look at my cable management. Look at the cable management behind that computer. God, look at the lighting setup. I currently have a plant light right here covered in bags because it's too harsh. So you could see when I'm sitting here, it's kind of blue over here. That's because it's a white light that I have shooting through grocery bags because I don't want to buy lighting right now. I'm trying to save money. Then over here, this is a cheap light I got at clearance from Best Buy. It's great for taking product photos, and the battery dies too quick. But that one I can adjust the temperature so it's a little warmer. But then it's a contrast of blue light and warm light. And then you can see the camera's on a tripod there. I got to get a little nicer tripod. I got the desk kind of in the middle here because it helps filming with the background. I got to change the background up a bit, but it helps filming with the background. But yeah, you can see this super cheap light that's held by a phone tripod right here. And then you can see some trash I got to clean up. And just bulk behind me. What else can we see? My computer side panel's over there. Incredible. I got a boot. There's a boot right here. Realistically, I use a boot to hold the light up because the cable is too tight, so it pulls it off. So that's why I took the boots out to put the light there. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna make it in the video, but now my foot's under the desk. That's awful. Yep, that's the organization right now. I'm running an Ethernet cable from the router to my computer because my Wi-Fi card has been messing up. Yep. That's the mess. I don't know if this is going to make it in, but this needs to be organized, cleaned. I want to get rid of the cushions. I hate walking in this office and having cushions, but it's so echoey in here. It helps a little bit. Helps a little bit. Shout out Blink security cam. It's pretty cool. Got to watch my inventory when I'm not home. Yeah, that's the messy office. We'll get that cleaned up and organized a little bit. I got the card sorter. That's good. All right, this video is going on too long. Should I do the outro from the Blink cam? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe. There's the better camera, Blink camera. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.